Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo, and we're back here in Arma 3, taking a look at more of the Bootcamp update inside the development build. So they've actually released most of what we're going to be seeing in the Bootcamp update into development build. It's here, and there's a couple different components and sort of changes to the original engine, the original systems that we can take a look at. But one of the biggest things I really wanted to hit on with the Bootcamp update, because a lot of people who play Arma on a daily basis who just don't think outside the box about the game and just play it and have always felt like the game was really natural to them and it was, oh, you know, it's no big deal, I've been playing the game for 10 years, don't realize how inaccessible Arma as a series has always been. I mean, you might be able to think back to it, maybe you can remember, but for a lot of people who have sunk like 400 or 500 hours into just Arma 3 alone, not to mention how many hours they probably put into the series as a whole, it's easy, I think, to detach and to forget, wow, this game actually isn't really easy to pick up and play. Now, I'm sure there's that group of elitists out there who don't want anyone playing Arma. Oh, you know, it's terrible what DayZ did. Why do we have all these people playing Arma? I don't think that way at all. The more people you can get into a genre, especially such a niche genre like a military sim, the better. I mean, you're gonna help the game grow, and usually there's not many negative repercussions from more people playing something like Arma. You know, it's just better for everybody. There's more servers, there's more people online, there's more content being created, there's more things being discovered. In general, it's just healthier for a game to have a larger community. Now, of course, like I said, there's all those other things that come with it, but in general, it's just a better thing. So one of the things I wanted to take a look at today, one of the things that really is going to help push forward and sort of help eliminate some of that inaccessibility is the virtual training mode that they've now introduced. So what that is you can boot into this. It throws you into the VR sort of refrigerator box, as I called it in the past. Very Arma 2 stuff going on here. And now you can go to each of these different scenarios and learn about different elements inside of Arma. Elements that, to be honest, the game normally doesn't even bother to show you, or at least it shows you kind of in a really half-arsed way through the campaign. So we can take a look at material penetration. We have placeables like C4, explosives, things of that nature. You take a look at how launchers function, target designation. We have commanding of movement. That, you know, that's more of a single player component, or you never know. Sometimes in multiplayer you do have AI, and then you can see we have to actually unlock the next set of things here. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go run into the launchers, and we'll do that one. Now, again, a lot of people are gonna look at this and just say, "Well, you're just showing people how to use rocket launchers." That may not seem like a big deal, but when you think about the average person who purchases Arma without a group of friends to show them, hell, even the guy who does it because his friend said, hey, you know, we'll come show you how to play Arma, they're going to be able to boot into something like virtual training. You know, me as someone who runs, you know, a Zeus campaign on a weekly basis is going to be able to say, hey, you're brand new to the game, that's awesome, dude. We're more than willing to help you out, more than willing to help you learn how to experience and how to play Arma. But there's this really great thing called Bootcamp that has virtual training that I strongly recommend you go check out. It's just going to make your experience so much easier. So, again, to someone who plays Arma all the time, picking up an RPG, using it, using the scroll wheel system, no big deal. Someone who just bought the game a week ago probably even hasn't had a chance to touch a rocket launcher system of any sorts. Oh, that was high. Not to mention, this is a decent place to get some target practice in when you forget how to read the... There we go. Nice direct side hit. So while the whole system does seem simple and, you know, just straightforward, oh, you're just showing me how to do this, it's gonna be beneficial to new people who play Arma. Hell, I've even found things actually in this virtual training thing, as well as in the Bootcamp system, that I didn't really know how to do in Arma. So I can't complain, I'll be completely honest. I think there's a lot of good coming out of it. We don't actually need to pick up ammo. I don't know why I always do that. Let's get a target lock on this guy. Man, that lock-on sound is really, really loud. Of course, the cool thing about the virtual reality training is it's under the guise of virtual reality, which has some really, just genuinely nice and colorful touches to the whole thing. Let's go ahead and take out our helo here. Of course, we all know the thing that makes helicopters a pain in the arse is flare drops. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for him to rotate and look away. The pilot won't remember to drop flares. Something like that. Go ahead, show me that tail. Hasta la vista. Of course, there's a nice little description on the side of the screen explaining to you the key bindings and the buttons and all that good stuff. Like I said, now we can sit here all day. We got target designation, which to be honest is something that I want to do at some point because I haven't actually messed around with target designation. In fact, I remember the few times that I actually attempted to use the system, I was really confused. So I'm looking forward to that. Material penetration, you know, it's just a lot of basic things, but at the end of the day, when you actually know all of these before you go into Arma for the very first time, it's just going to be beneficial. It's that simple. It's going to be helpful. So let's go ahead and exit. Enough of me praising the virtual reality program. It was a very, very nice touch by Bohemia. I also just like the whole theme of the Bootcamp update with the virtual reality. It's just great, man. We already took a look at the virtual arsenal. We're going to go ahead and we're going to hop over and check out the Bootcamp. So this is actually its own little separate story, which I was pretty happy about. I thought, okay, this is actually, you know, this is really cool. I like this. Good job. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and completely replay the first couple little story bits here inside of Bootcamp, because Bohemia's actually added a lot of character to the game this time around. They've got 2 new soldiers that you deal with.
Alright, let's boot it up.
And they actually have a pretty decent amount of personality that put a smile on my face, and I think when we check this out, you guys will feel the same way.
So far. Holy shit. I know, right? Yeah, you weren't kidding. Okay. Let's see what this baby can do.
This puts a nice little smile on your face.
Alright, come on over.
Of course, I'm looking forward to using this terrain and these just real nice clean boxes in Zeus very, very much. I think it's going to be a whole different type of campaign. It's going to be really satisfying.
They're all yours, Sergeant.
And one of the other things we have to talk about now that we're actually shooting is the fatigue system, which we're actually going to get to experience in one of these bootcamp missions, but also the new weapon systems. Just the whole functioning of how your soldier carries his weapon around and functions with it. It all feels much, much better.
Okay, let's try bearings. Next one's at 220.
220, you don't say.
All right, not bad. Moving along. Here we go. Sergeant, if you'd be so kind.
So that whole system feels a lot better, and it's a huge improvement over what was originally in Arma, which not a lot of people used. A lot of it used TMR, things like that, to adjust the recoil system because it was just so unwielding. It wasn't nice.
So, looks like it wants you to run from marker to marker as fast as you can.
Oh, that's what it wants, huh? Great.
Yeah, it says here that, it'll spawn targets at each marker. You'll need to drop them before you can proceed. Well, whenever you're ready.
But the nice thing about the system as well, one of the issues I had with TMR was that I felt like it reduced the difficulty in firing the weapon at times, especially in a situation under fatigue, because it wasn't really...
You know what? Go bother someone else. Out! AF morons.
Can you pick that up? I'd really like that. Yeah. It has no ammunition. Alright, we're not picking it up. So yeah, so it's nice to have a system that is still has that level of realism and difficulty. At least it's aiming for that.
You having fun up there?
You know it.
Jesus Christ, deafen me, why don't you?
Sorry about that. Well, I think it's safe to say it's working as advertised.
Got any more tanks lying around?
Maybe next time. All right, let's shut it down. The greenbacks are gonna get here soon.
Alright, so as we move on, you can see we're still dealing with the greenbacks. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the common denominator one, because this is going to show us a little bit of the new fatigue system and how that affects everything you do when it comes to firing a weapon under fatigue. Which I'm a big fan of the system. I feel like it's been tweaked. It's been just improved massively. It feels so much better. It feels rewarding, and it still has that sense of like, okay, we're going to punish you for being fatigued. You know, we're not gonna like go back on that, but it's not to the point where it was in the past, where you were also dealing with just this absurd recoil system that the game had that just felt so unnatural. So I feel like they've gone in a good direction there. Of course, there's always more room for tweaking. Even when anything leaves development build in Arma, we all know that it's like infinite beta. They're always tweaking and changing things, and they've been listening to the community a lot recently. More so than I feel like they ever have, and they've been making some huge changes to the game that I've just been genuinely impressed with. Now, if we can just get bipods in the game, everything will be okay.
So, what'd you think?
Not bad at all.
All right. Here comes the cavalry. Shit, looks like I missed one. Tell you what, you go get it working. I'll get things set up here.
Copy.
So as you can see, there's even story connected to the whole thing. It's 1 year before Stratus, 1 year before Altus, and we're on Stratus.
I'm sorry, I thought I told you to go bother someone else. You know, I don't get annoyed easily.
Yeah, right.
But this guy's a special kind of buckwheat.
That should do it.
Copy. All right, everyone, gather around. See some targets? Really? Sorry, they're all we've got on hand.
All right, first things first. I'm Staff Sergeant Adams. This is Sergeant Conway. We'll be your cabin crew for today.
Cabin crew?
Since I'm fairly confident we all know why we're here, I'll skip the usual brief. So, over to you, Sergeant. When you're ready, put some rounds downrange. You'll notice that the Sergeant took a knee before firing, which creates a more stable firing position. Try to do this as much as possible. If he'd remained standing, he'd have had a tougher time compensating for recoil. It's not impossible, but it's also not ideal. Going prone offers the best stationary shooting posture with the least recoil and smallest profile. However, be careful of grass and other obstacles obstructing your view. Engaging targets at greater distances is a bit more complicated. Collimator sights, like the Sergeant here is using, are not well suited to the task. Sergeant, go ahead and grab the RCO from the crate.
So again, you can see there's a real big focus on the basics with the Bootcamp
I'll be giving
update.
directions to the Sergeant exclusively in compass bearings, so please pay attention. I'll call out specific targets for the Sergeant to engage. It's up to him to pick them out and score a hit. Are you ready, Sergeant?
As I'll ever be.
All right, first target.
Helicopters. Well, speaking of CSAT,
Pay attention, children. 100 meters, bearing 290. 300 meters, bearing 330. Remember, control your breathing. Aim for clean, focused shots. That's 300 meters away from you at bearing 330, Sergeant.
I guess it helps if I look in the right direction.
Conway, it's over there, in the ruined building. You're making me look bad.
I see it! Calm down, it's a hell of a shot.
400 meters, bearing 307. let's move on.
Not bad if I don't say so myself.
While we're on the subject, you're going to find it much harder to control your breathing on the battlefield. Sergeant,
Don't even say it.
your adoring public awaits.
God damn it.
I love it. I love it. All right, it's time to put the fatigue system to use and show how it affects your weapon handling. So we get to take a little
What is
jog.
the sergeant doing, I hear you ask? Well, in all honesty, I have no idea. Although I think we can all agree it's quite a sight to behold.
Fuck you, Staff Sergeant.
However, his completely spontaneous and totally unplanned marathon conveniently brings us to our next lesson, fatigue. It can and it will be your worst nightmare in the field, should you fail to regulate it effectively. Push yourself too hard and you'll find yourself unable to hit shit, even when the situation requires otherwise. And hell, if that's not enough for you, you'll just grow to hate the sound of your own wheezing. The floor is all yours, Sergeant. See? Now the sergeant has to battle himself as he fires. Again, you need to control your stamina. If you don't, you'll have a hard time hitting anything at all. That'll do, Sergeant. That'll do.
American, please, I need to speak with you. There has been an incident. Over.
So you can tell there's an air of comedy, of humor about the entire setup inside of boot camp, virtual training, which I like. It keeps it lighthearted, and again, as you can see, there's just a big focus on learning the basics, understanding compass coordinates, which is great because, to be honest, that's something that I don't use enough. A lot of us don't use enough when I play. I know it's something that a lot of the more hardcore organizations, people who play Arma, literally that's what they do. They use compass coordinates, and we often use them, but it's not something I use on a regular basis, usually just because I'm not familiar with where they are on the compass, and admittedly, they're not that easy to read for me. I have to, so I like that there's a bit of a focus on that. In general, just like, hey, go into this and take a look at this. But let's go ahead and we'll do the diplomatic relations one as well. I don't actually know how long this is, but that's as far as I got. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to resume that because this shows us a little bit of orienteering, which I'm a huge fan of. Looks like we're going to have to actually revert on this one, which is fine. So I'm running this with no mods because, of course, the one thing that happens when you are in development build and you're attempting to do any sort of single player, anything that requires saving and you run mods, it usually voids your save. Causes a lot of issues.
Say again, why not? Over.
We do not have a map.
GPS?
Negative.
Copy. Wait one.
This is the ultimate level of facepalm.
Something with these people. All right, change of plans. Everyone, gather around the sergeant. Come on, don't be shy now. We're gonna learn something useful. Bring up your map, Conway. Okay, here's the deal. Since your people are completely incapable of intelligent thought, it has fallen upon us to rescue them from certain doom. Before we begin, Sergeant, if you'd be so kind, stick a marker on our location 066160. For those just tuning in, six-figure grids are a crucial navigational tool. Coordinates are read from the bottom first, followed by the ones that run up the side.
Alright, so let's mark our
We're
current position.
to triangulate their position. However, before we get onto that, you guys still there?
Yes.
We need some landmarks to go off here. Do you have anything we could use? Did you spot anything recognizable en route to your location? Over.
Well, we know that we are west of Sirta. We drove through it.
Okay, that's one. Hold on. All right, Sergeant, stick a marker on Sirta. It should be about 3 clicks to the northeast.
Clicks?
3 kilometers, in other words.
Alright, marker on Sirta.
A line going west from Sirta. Can you guys give us any other landmarks?
There is a hill nearby. It has a small chapel on top of it. It is at bearing 130 from our position. Over.
Copy. Wait one. That's probably somewhere southwest of Sirta itself. Think you can locate it, Sergeant?
Oh, it's probably Agios Meninas right here.
All right. The bearing they gave us was 130. However, that's from them.
See, this is a small issue now. The compass is so damn small that I can't use it for anything. It's pretty much useless apart from the cardinal directions.
10 from the chapel itself.
It needs to be larger on the
You'll
map.
notice the lines intersect. That, in a nutshell, is all we're looking for. It tells us that if the information they provided is accurate, they must be somewhere near there. However, the intersect won't always be exact. Use common sense to enhance your accuracy, or try to obtain further information. Over to you, Sergeant. Stick a marker on their position. Yep, that looks about right.
Alright, let's go save some
American,
greenbacks.
what is your status?
We've got your grid 074183. We're on our way. Stay put. Out. Okay, we're gonna go find your friends. Keep yourselves busy while we're gone. The rest of you, load up. Conway, you're driving.
I can't help but feel like Adams is inspired by Sarge from Red vs. Blue. It's just something about the guy. Cracks me up, man. Let's go for a little drive.
Take the left up ahead.
Driving with a keyboard will never be
Shit.
efficient thing.
Take the left, Conway, around the town.
Okay. For the record, I'm blaming CSAT.
Keep driving, I'll check with McKinnon.
Broadway, Alpha 1-1 actual. Was that what I think it was? Over.
Confirmed, 1-1. Just a small tremor. No cause for concern. Over.
Copy, Broadway.
Phalanx to all units. We just experienced a light earthquake. Do not be alarmed. Return to your posts and resume your duties. Out.
What he said, 1-1.
Yeah, we got it, Colonel. 1-1 out.
Oh, that's not
Guess
suspicious.
some greenbacks must have shit themselves.
That was a hell of a drive, man.
Take the next left. Keep an eye on the GPS, Sergeant.
Almost forgot we had a GPS.
Take the right coming up. This must be the place. Pull up and park, Conway.
Everyone out!
Christ.
What the hell happened here?
We were on patrol. We were attacked.
Patrol, huh?
Yes,
And these people, they attacked you?
yes. Was I unclear?
You ever heard of excessive force?
Good, Sergeant.
Staff Sergeant, they're just civilians.
Did you sweep the buildings? And what's the deal with that man over there?
Yes, we did. They are clean.
You searched all of them, including the ones down there?
No, only these ones.
And that man, do you have medical support inbound?
No.
Are you kidding me?
Sergeant, search those buildings down there. The rest of you, set up a perimeter. And you, call for a goddamn medevac, now!
Ugh, God, man. I'd be pissed off too. These dudes are annoying. Well, let's go clear some buildings, eh?
Small one's clear, continuing the search. The shed's empty. Adams, I've got a weapon stash here. Small arms and explosives. Definitely guerrilla. Over.
You see? They were a threat.
Yeah, and I'm sure they just attacked you for no reason.
Copy, Sergeant. Form on me.
Yeah, we'll just get our hands on one of these.
Status?
We didn't make it. Damn it. I let Broadway know what's going on. We've been ordered back to base. I've told these idiots to clean up the mess. They'll handle the weapons.
Can't help but think the guerrillas won't take too kindly to this.
All right, everyone, mount up. We're out of here.
Alright guys, so that is boot camp. I think we'll actually continue the campaign. I'm really looking forward to actually experiencing more of this. There's just something about it. They got a nice sense of tension behind it, and hopefully we'll have some good combat moments where we can experience the new weapon handling system, deal with the fatigue and all those things. But I just want you guys to remember that, because I've heard a lot of people I've been talking to who are really big into Arma, you know, who just think like what they've heard about the boot camp update is like aimless, is like pointless, and that's not true. You know, I know there's a lot of people who agree with me that it's going to be a great learning tool for new players, as well as for those players who have been playing the game, you know, on a linear level. And when I say linear, I mean like they've only experienced Altus Life, or they've only experienced, you know, Wasteland, or they've only played online in Zeus. You know, they don't really know everything that the game has to offer because it probably hasn't been shown to them or given to them just yet. And that's what I think is going to make boot camp so great. Not to mention, of course, all of the other fixes and small things that this is going to bring. Looking forward to this going into the full release, into the stable build, as well as, you know, the helicopters and the marksmen. Very, very much. But what I wanted to ask you guys, those of you who've been playing Arma out here, is how long have you been playing Arma for? And can you remember what it was like the first time you played Arma? Can you remember how lost you were with the controls and with the ridiculous action system, which hopefully one day we will see changed. But let me know in the comment section below. I really want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think of Bootcamp. You know, do you agree that this is going to be a great learning tool for new players, and that maybe even you, as a veteran player, have some things you can learn from it? I'll see you guys in the next one.